Hello, everyone. How is everyone?
Hi.
Well, I guess that's a rhetorical question when we're all online. But yeah, hi, my name is Jeremiah McCoy. I am one of the graduate interns at Florida State University for the summer. This is our first of many family webinar panel series that we have going on. I will go ahead and give a heads up that I am in Fort Lauderdale right now, and I'm looking out my window, and it is a very big storm coming. So if my screen does blank out, we do have another grad assistant that's on staff that can kind of take over. She's in a different part of the world. So that is one yay COVID moment. But if you do lose service, just please hop back on. We will be admitting people as we have room. Like we mentioned in the email, we do reach capacity limits at 300, and we are currently at 300. So we have quite a few people that are in the waiting room. So don't lose your seat, because don't move your feet, because you get what I'm trying to say. Either way, you got a lot of people that are here. But yeah, like I said, my name is Jeremiah McCoy. A few little house rules. We would ask that you keep your screens to appropriate things only. We also would ask that you keep yourselves muted. And if you have any questions throughout the entirety of it, you can filter it in the chat section at the bottom of your screen. It should say, give an option for share screen, and directly to the left of it, it should say chat. And you would be able to give a chat to Hannah, who is one of our orientation leaders at Florida State University. I don't know if she's on your screen anywhere, because I have 12, so you might have to click through a few. But Hannah would be able to, you would field your questions to Hannah, and she would field them to me, and then I would ask them to the office representatives that we have here. So without further ado, I will let Spencer, who is from the Office of Accessibility Services, start us off. So the three of the professional staff members, like I said, from Florida State, will introduce themselves, and then it'll come back to me, and we'll open it up for panel sessions. All right, but thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I am so excited to be with you all today. My name is Spencer Scruggs. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I currently work as the Assistant Director of the Office of Accessibility Services here at Florida State University. I've been here for about, this August will be 6 years. I started as a graduate assistant in the office, and have made all 6 of those years have worked with students with disabilities in some form or another through the work of our office. So, excuse me. If any of you have former students, you might be familiar. Our office was formerly known as the Student Disability Resource Center. We are now the Office of Accessibility Services. I'm excited to talk to you all because I love the work that I get to do with students with disabilities, and you would be surprised how many students with disabilities that we have on campus. So I'm sorry, I'm a little parched, so I might be clearing my throat throughout, but so we roughly have about 6,500 students that are on campus that are registered with our office for a disability of some kind. The majority of our work with our office is mostly shepherding the accommodations process for students. So that involves a variety of different things that we do in our office, a variety of different accommodations, adjustments of any kind, to academic plans. So a lot of our work is working specifically with students on academic accommodations that they may need. So some of this may involve aspects of what you may be familiar in terms of additional time on exams. Sometimes our students with ADHD, learning disabilities, a variety of different disability-related conditions may need some additional time on exams. That's really our most common accommodation, but we offer a variety of other accommodations, and we cover a lot of different concerns, everything from temporary accommodations. So if a student breaks their arm or breaks their leg and needs assistance on campus, the temporary accommodations process helps the student with getting whatever type of assistance they may need in their classes in that time period. Students with mental health concerns, we are the only place on campus where a student can get permanent assistance in their class related to a mental health concern. So if a student has some mental health challenges and is finding that things like attendance in class or if they need some sort of adjustments to assignment due dates of any kind, we are the only location on campus that can give them that permanent assistance. They can certainly go other places and get some temporary assistance, but we like to really refer students to our area because we know those mental health concerns can be ongoing concerns and can affect a student throughout their educational career, not just one semester. So we offer a variety of different academic accommodations. We also have some great tools for students to use. So, we offer a lot of assistive technology, things with software that help students, use electronic readers, electronic textbooks of any kind. We offer a lot of really great options in kind of the technology area for students to kind of get that assistance in classes they may need. Occasionally, we may also explore other options such as note-taking assistance, kind of helping students if students need a larger chair or a detachable desk and chair in their classroom. We are an office that can help with that. So really, it kind of spans a whole field. We pride ourselves on working individually with students and really addressing it on an individual level to help the student understand and really process through what do they need to succeed on campus. And so that individual process is really important to us. Beyond academic accommodations, we offer a variety of other things. So we are the office where if students needed adjustments in their housing assignment on campus or a housing-related concern, we are the office that can help with that. There are certainly a lot of caveats to that, more than I can share in the small amount of time I have with you all today. But if students are finding that they need certain adjustments to their housing environment based off of a disability-related reason, we are the office that they would start that process at to help them get the type of assignment on campus that's going to benefit them the most in their studies. So we welcome students to that process. And I'm actually the person that works one-on-one with those students. So fairly comfortable with answering those questions and helping students process through that. We also offer a variety of other things from interpreting services. We have an interpreter on campus that works at different events and works in classes for students that need ASL interpretation. We work with Seminole Dining for students that need dietary accommodations, so they first go through our process and then get referred over to Seminole Dining to talk about dining options on campus. We also have transportation services, so a lot of our students from chronic health conditions down to those temporary injuries that I was mentioning earlier might need a ride on campus or some help with figuring out what transportation is going to look like on campus. So we offer that consultation process as well. So really runs the gamut. How do we define disability? As you can probably tell from a lot of what I've been sharing, there's a broad definition for that. So, I can certainly share the legal definition of it, but it really is broad in nature. So it's something that impacts a major life activity in one way or another. So if you think about some common ones, physical disabilities are certainly something that we will work with students on. We also, ADHD, learning disabilities, we have quite a few students on the autism spectrum that we work closely with, chronic health conditions, mental health concerns, those temporary injuries, we have veteran students that come to campus with a TBI, traumatic brain injuries of any kind. We even have students that come to campus with a variety of different mental health concerns, and so really it runs the gamut. We always tell students, come consult with us. We can always tell you, if you don't have documentation or if you don't have that experience of getting accommodations, we can always work with you to figure out what the right resource is going to be for you, if that's our office or somewhere else. So kind of what the process looks like. So for students that need any sort of assistance from our office, we encourage them to first fill out an application and register with us. That process, they're going to fill out they're going to fill out an application, and then they're going to submit some documentation, and then have an individual consultation with us where we would discuss the different accommodations or different types of assistance that they may need. And so we want to encourage every single student to reach out to us and reach out through those methods. I know my time is running short, so I wanted to quickly highlight a couple different things. Beyond accommodations, we also are really growing the role of our office in promoting accessibility and disability inclusion on campus. And so for a lot of first-year students that may have some difficulty with getting acclimated to academic environments, we offer a special smaller class on college success skills and what that looks like specifically for students with disabilities. So that's our Engage 100 course, and we want to encourage students to sign up for that. We offer a variety of ways to get involved with our office and different support programs and leadership programs that students can participate in. And then as family members, we want you to stay engaged with us. And so we have an opportunity for you to fill out some information where we would send regular news out to you and newsletters and ways to stay involved and connected with our office. So thank you all.
So now we'll let Dr. Courtney Berry go.
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Berry. I serve as director of the Academic Center for Excellence. I've been with the university for 15 years. Specifically, my role is to help your students with study strategies. Every FSU student pays tuition fees, as you well know, and we provide Learning Center assistance with the fees that they pay. So it will include tutoring services. Typically in the fall semester, we support over 100 courses. Predominantly, we serve freshmen and sophomore students with tutoring services. Fortunately, we've been remote since March helping students. So if you have currently any students, if there's students here with us today, we are offering tutoring services for over 50 different courses for Summer C, which started today, as you know. So tutoring services is one aspect of our Learning Center. I will be clear in that we do not provide writing assistance. That is something Dr. Marr will talk about briefly in a little bit. But we do tend to help with a lot of science, We have over 60% of students needing some assistance with math, so we definitely are well versed with math tutoring. We provide social sciences, foreign languages, quite a variety of support with academic support in tutoring. On campus, we're located in the William Johnston building where we have study rooms available. We do have a computer lab available. We allow 20 different laptops to be rented out or checked out for free. So if your student is having any technological problems, we certainly can assist because we have a computer to assist them or a laptop depending on their needs. We have workshops that are free. We provide those throughout June, July, certainly in the fall and spring semesters in a variety of topics. So please encourage your student and students who are with us today, please check out our workshop schedules. You do not need to register in advance. They are free and we provide that in-person assistance. We currently are remote with our workshops and still providing assistance that way. So look into those different workshop titles that might help you. For students interested in focusing on academic strategies, we have an SLS 1122 course. And we do offer it during summer C, but we offer it as well in the fall and spring semesters. If your student does not perform above a 2.0 their first semester, the university will mandate that your student be in SLS 1122. But I want you to know as a student, you can also select that as a 1 credit graded course. We talk about academic strategies, we talk about self-regulation. We really try to help you plan out how to improve your performance in classes, how to really be in control of your schedule, how to be motivated to accomplish the goals that you want as a student. I definitely look forward to answering any questions that you might have. Ultimately, what I want to make sure that you know as a student, you can come into our learning center on campus and definitely get some support, whether it's a quieter study space. We have ways that you can reserve that space using Campus Connect. So if you visit my.fsu.edu, the portal, and select Campus Connect, it's an icon with a CC and a handshake, very close to Canvas, that icon. But Campus Connect is a way that you can schedule tutoring appointments, 30-minute, 60-minute tutoring appointments, as well as study rooms that would be in person and utilized at our learning center. I look forward to answering any questions you might have later on, but I want to give Dr. Marr a chance to speak.
Okay, hello everybody. I am Dr. Jim Marr. I'm the director of the Reading, Writing Center and Digital Studio here at FSU. I have been in post for coming up for a year. And so I'm kind of still finding out how everything works and beginning to make some changes and implement some new things. Just to explain our long title a little bit, we normally shorten it to RWCDS. The reading, writing part is supposed to, I'm not that keen on, to be honest, because it kind of implies remediation of some kind, like we're teaching people how to read and write. What it's meant to say is that we do sometimes talk to students about the different strategies that they may need to read for college classes. So whether it's the volume of material or the particular kind of reading, which involves what we call close reading, which is a really in-depth study of a text, that kind of thing. But that's not the main thing that we do. At the other end of our name, the digital studio part, is because we supply support for students who are working on projects that involve software of some kind. So that is often as a container. They're making a web page, or they're making a blog, or they're editing video, or something of that kind. But in our case, it's mostly where the project also involves some written work. So we can give them support for both the software application and how to make that work with the content, the written work or the visual work that they're doing. And in the middle, the main thing that we do for thousands of students every year is to support them as writers in their writing generally. And so we don't just focus on school assignments, although a lot of people that we see do bring us school assignments. We also work with graduate students on theses and dissertations. We work with creative writers. We work with people doing applications. We work with people writing for publication. We work with people who are doing reports, anyone who needs to put words on the page. We work with them when they're trying to figure out how to get started, how to get any words at all onto that blank page, how to organize their thoughts and their words, how to create a structure. We think about what their audience is for this work, who they're going to be showing it to, who's going to be reading it, what their expectations might be. All of this is the technical stuff to do with writing. But where we actually start is with the student. We ideally like to see students not just once and not just at the last minute when their assignment is due tomorrow, although that does happen a lot. Ideally, we like to see students throughout their career and as often as possible whenever they have questions about their writing or just want to talk generally about how their writing's going, as well as when they have a specific project in hand that they want to show us at whatever stage. And we feel that it's very important to get to know a student, who they are, where they're coming from, how they are seen and see themselves, and how they see us in a societal context, in the context of the university, in the context of the classroom, whatever seems relevant to them. And we talk and we listen, and we try to get to know people, even if it's a half-hour appointment and the assignment is due in 3 hours' time. We still try to ask some questions and find out what is important to the student. And then we make suggestions based on our knowledge and experience, but also on what we're hearing from that student. I am the only permanent member of staff in the Writing Center, but my team, which is of varying sizes depending on which semester we're in, but for next semester, for the fall, we have 24 incoming graduate students, and in addition to undergraduate students, and in addition, we have a small administrative team of 5 more experienced graduate students. And as you can see from what I'm saying, the team are students themselves of at varying stages in their careers. In the fall, they tend to be mostly from the English department because we are a unit of the English department. But we have a campus-wide remit. And part of my determination is to have a wider spread of students from other parts of campus so that we can reflect more obviously the experience of students who don't happen to be in the humanities. However, that said, we do talk to students all the time who are not in the humanities. We talk to a lot of international students, multilingual students, students who are other graduate students, students who are referred to us by the career service. We have a close relationship with other tutoring services on campus, although we call ourselves consultants, just to be different. We have a close relationship with the library, and when we're on campus, we have currently 3 locations, one in the English department building, which is the Williams building, one in the William Johnson building, alongside Dr. Barry's office. In both of those locations, we have both a small digital studio and a writing center. They're related to each other, but they're slightly separate. And then we also have people in the library. And we also offer some evening hours based in the library. We have always been able to work remotely. And so for us, it was a relatively smooth transition to work entirely remotely. And whether we are called on to do that or whether we are called on to return to actually sitting down at a table with someone next to them and talking to them actually face-to-face for us is, it's not exactly the same thing, but we are used to doing that. And so we're geared up and well able to do that, and we train our consultants to be able to do that. Right now, as of today, I am training the new batch of consultants for the fall. I taught class this morning, all morning, which is why my voice is a little croaky. And they seem like a bunch of people. We are absolutely committed to questioning structures that that impede true inclusivity in the Writing Center and beyond. We always have been. Writing centers are traditionally seen as rebels and anti-establishment. And although we are contained within the establishment, we take pride in giving students the chance to see things from a different perspective. But in the end, with our help, support, and advice, if they would like to take it, either broadly or very specifically, we're there to support them and to listen to them and to understand them. And I love my job. And I'm very happy to be here telling you all about it, because from our small corner of campus, it's sometimes difficult to get our voice heard. But I think what we do is really important. And I hope we can do much more of it.
All right, thank you three so much. Again, the offices that are here tonight are the Office of Accessibility Services, the Academic Center for Excellence, and the University Reading and Writing Center. So again, you should be, if you have any questions, you can send them to Hannah. Her name is in the chat box. We kind of turned it off so that you should only have the option to message myself and her, and then maybe the other grad assistant. But yeah, if you have any questions, shoot them to Hannah and she will pass them over to me. The first question that we have is for Dr. Berry, and it is, what type of training do your students go through? Well, it says staff, but I think they're referring to your students, go through in order to work there?
Great question. So we do only hire undergraduate students. A student has to perform a B+ or better in any of the courses that he or she may tutor in. We provide over 10 hours of certification training, and a student who works with us for well over 2 years can be certified up to a level 3. So that's a great question.
Great, thank you for that. The next question is for Spencer with the Office of Accessibility Services. Kind of a broad question, but here we go. How will COVID potentially affect your services should we not go back to campus in the fall?
Yeah, so that is a conversation we are having right now. I can tell you, our director is constantly in meetings with a variety of individuals and advocating for lots of different options for students. Ultimately, we are hoping that that a lot of students will have different options for taking in-person and online classes. We know that having multiple ways of learning and getting content and giving students options will help them make the best decision that's for them. Ultimately, it should not affect much of our process. We will still encourage students to come through our office if they have concerns of that kind. I will let you know, in terms of housing, we are asking that families make smart decisions about the housing choices that they're making. And so we encourage you to make the decision that is going to be best, and your student to make the best, or the decisions that's going to be best for them, regardless of COVID, regardless of these spaces. We have and are constantly talking with university housing to maintain information and to try to get as best information as we can. Right now, we do know there's going to be at least some reduced capacity. There's no guarantees on how much there will be, but there will be some form. We have already started working with students on maybe some concerns that they have with that. Regardless, we are still encouraging you all to make the decision that's going to be best for you in that case. And so you're more than welcome to reach out to us to discuss those things with us. I think there's still a lot of information in the air, and what we know is we could hit sometime in July or August, and things will change very quickly, or they could change at the drop of a dime. And so we want to prepare you for that, and we want to share how important it is for you all to have multiple plans in place. You want to have, an idea of, okay, if this happens, this might be best. If this happens, this might be best, and make the decision that ultimately will make you and your student the most comfortable and with moving forward for the fall. OAS remains a partner with you all. We're happy to discuss those with you, but we are going to advise that because we still have so much time and there's still so many other questions to be answered, that we want to make sure that that you are taking that into account.
Great, thank you. The next one is for Dr. Berry and Dr. Marr. Should our student come to campus in August and unfortunately get COVID and then must stay home, is there a possibility that your offices would still be able to provide service?
Dr. Marr, you can go first.
Oh, thank you. Yes, as I said, we always provide remote service, even when there is no global pandemic to deal with. And so for us, it's just a question of the amount of that we're doing. I think the one thing that has definitely changed is that we used to favor meeting in person more than I think perhaps we should have. Going forward, there's no going back to that position. We will still promote the idea that we like to sit down with someone actually in person, because I think conversation in person is an important part of civilized life, whatever that means. It's not everyone likes to talk to us electronically. However, some people do prefer it. Some people it works out better for. I'm sure Spencer will tell you that there are some people for whom it's actually a great boon. And so I don't think we're going back to the place where we would have limited remote resources. So yeah, absolutely no question that we would be able to do that.
As far as our learning center, we are 100% remote at this time. So that is providing mainly tutoring services and workshops. We also provide academic consultations for students who are currently enrolled in classes. And that's meeting with the faculty member for 45 minutes to an hour and talking specifically about what that student might need help with. Maybe the student did not perform really well the first exam, but wants to do better for the second exam. So we work on a 5 to 7 day schedule to figure out what they can do to better prepare for that next exam. But I can assure you we will stay remote. We've had since March 16th being remote using Zoom, which the university has a full subscription for. We also, again, have our students are currently able to go to my.fsu.edu and select Campus Connect and decide on availability. Does the student want a 30-minute or a 60-minute individual appointment? So I agree with Dr. Marr. As much as we want to provide face-to-face, we will be prepared to do that. But we will continue some remote services since we've been effective for 100% of that since March. One thing I'll mention real quickly is in a typical fall semester, we'd be open every day except Saturday. We intentionally open our hours on Sunday afternoons. We typically close as a learning center until 10 p.m. And it would just typically be that Saturday we'd be closed. So we do look forward to being at least face-to-face in some capacity. Great question.
Thank you. The next question is for all three of you. Would your offices be able to help my student even if they do not have a laptop?
Yes, a firmly yes for their learning center. We can certainly help a student. We provide a computer. It's a desktop. It's a Dell desktop computer. We have 20 in our computer lab right now. And then laptops are also available depending on the student's need. So that's for ACE. We can help.
Yeah, we also use Zoom. We will be flexible. If someone prefers a different software package, then we can do that too, if they're more familiar. But our basic connection is through Zoom. So Zoom will work on a tablet or a phone if that's all that the student has. Obviously, sometimes that's a choice, sometimes not, but we certainly can still make it work. If all else fails, then we can also do what's called asynchronous consulting, which is when someone sends us something by email, and within the appointment time, we will respond to it via email, but we don't care to do that because it's not a conversation. And so we will do that if there is no other choice rather than do nothing. And especially if it's an emergency and the thing is due tomorrow. But it's a negotiation, you know, the conversation is partly about how can we make this work.
I will echo all that my colleagues have shared. We have very many different methods of we can do phone appointments. We do Zoom. You know, if we offer, you know, Zoom as an option even for the student to call in. You know, we share all of that, those options. I would encourage, I'm not entirely familiar with whether it is still available. Maybe Dr. Mara or Dr. Berry could share as well, but the university this past spring and into the summer had a option for students that needed a laptop or technology to get some sort of technology. I don't know if that'll still be an option in the fall, but I would encourage them, if they are having that difficulty, to reach out to case management services on campus, and case management can get them connected either with resources at the university or resources out in the community to help them with that technology need.
Speaking of technology, Spencer, the next one is for you. What steps is your office or department taking to assist students with visual disabilities? I'm assuming it's because of COVID, like if it were to be a virtual situation again format.
Jeremiah, your audio went out a little bit while you were on my end.
Sorry about that. What steps is your department taking to support students with visual disabilities?
Yeah, so we have a lot of different options available to students that are either blind, low vision. We have lots of different software, so we offer, in our office, we have quite a few computers that have software like JAWS, or that offer that option for particularly our students that have difficulty with reading documents of any kind. We do have a small amount of CCTVs that are available that can magnify screens, that can adjust the contrast on any paper-based readings of any kind. So we encourage students to encourage students to use or check out one of those options. We also have our alternative text options. So a student can register with us and get an option to get electronic versions of any of their textbook readings that can then be read by a program like Kurzweil 3000 or Read and Write Gold that gives them the option, a robust option for an electronic reader on their computer. We also work with students to find those same options on iPads, their phones, things of that nature. We do also offer brailing, so if students do need an option for Braille, we do have a brailer in our office. We offer a variety of different software as well, like the one I can think of is Magic. So Magic's a screen magnifier, and that's available on our computers. In our space, and students can use those and come and check in. They'll have to check with us in the fall about what our procedures will be for that, but those will be an option in the fall. So we offer a variety of different options. I think the biggest thing that we encourage students is to get connected with us and to work with us individually to make a determination on what really is what are their needs, what are their actual needs, and how can we address those with technology.
Great, thank you. This is another one for Dr. Berry and Dr. Marr. Will my student be able to work with the same tutor the entire semester, or will they have a different one each time?
Well, students make their own appointments on our appointment system, which is a separate system. It's actually not linked to the university's system as a whole. But that means that they have control over who they make appointments with. We have the same tutors for an entire semester. We can't guarantee that they will still be there the following semester because of how our staffing works. But within a semester, I can't again guarantee that the tutor that the student has worked with before will be available on the schedule at the exact time that they would like to make another appointment, but provided that there can be some flexibility, certainly they would have it within their power to make appointments with the same person. We work with graduate students and with some undergraduate students also in a more of a class-like structure where we can make for that person a series of appointments for the whole semester. But that is a class, it's done for credit, and that doesn't suit everyone. Not everyone wants to actually do that. However, within our normal structure, it's usually possible to match up with the tutor that you prefer, with the consultant that you prefer.
As far as our learning center, we cannot guarantee the student will have the same tutor at every appointment, but a student can definitely schedule appointments 2 weeks in advance, and a student can have 2 and 3 appointments per week. So it is just like Dr. Marr had commented, it is based on the tutor's availability and the student's availability, but we certainly hope that a student will try to connect best with a tutor and keep utilizing the same tutor for a particular course. But again, we keep it open based on availability. And so I strongly encourage all students to schedule appointments well in advance, and definitely don't just judge one tutoring experience. For Calculus 1, make sure you're trying at least 2 or 3 different tutors. We want to make sure your learning style fits. We want to make sure the personality fits. So schedule it based on availability. And it is available. You could find the same tutor. It just depends on how much the tutor is available.
What we actually find is that even with graduate students working on a dissertation, for example, they see value in talking to more than one person about their work, because they might come at it from different angles or get different feedback and different support and suggestions. And so it's also worth considering, in addition to everything that Dr. Barry said, the possibility that simply another fresh pair of eyes on the work could be illuminating.
Great, thank you. The next one is for Spencer. Once a student has applied, registered, submitted documentation that they've been approved for accommodations, are the accommodations automatically sent to the professors, or do the students have to inform them individually? And to follow up, do they have to re-register each semester/year, or will the accommodations follow them automatically throughout their time at FSU?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I think that was one thing that I didn't get to fully mention in my introduction, was that when a student initially applies and submits documentation, and they sat down with us, they've discussed the accommodations, and then from there we approve the accommodations. Each semester that they are a student at the university, they will need to request what we call faculty notification letters. So these are letters, you may also hear us refer to them as accommodation letters, but these are letters that they can request through our special student portal that only our students get access to. And essentially that they go through and they select the classes that they want the accommodations in, and then they can select the accommodations that they want in each of those classes. I really, when I speak with students on this, I emphasize that it's really up to them to make that initial step in requesting those letters. And then they have every choice on which accommodations they choose, understanding that accommodations aren't retroactive, which means that, for example, if a student decided that they were going to request their letters, they let a couple weeks pass during the fall semester, and then 5 weeks in, they decide, oh, now I need my accommodation letters. I didn't do so well on an exam. I need to get these accommodations in place. Their instructor is not allowed to go back and officially let that student retake that exam with accommodations. That's what we mean by accommodations are not retroactive. So they essentially apply moving forward from that date that the student requests the faculty notification letter through our student portal. Therefore, we tell students, request those letters the first week of the semester. That way, you get it out of the way. You have the accommodations for the full semester. You can take full advantage of them. It's really important that in addition to requesting those letters, that they also follow up with their faculty members to discuss the actual accommodations that they are using in the course. They should not assume just because the letter is sent that now their accommodations are being applied. That next step of talking with their faculty members, and it doesn't entirely have to be in person. It can be just a simple initial email asking, hi, I'm in your MAC, MAC 1140 class, and I just recently sent my accommodation letters over from the Office of Accessibility Services. I wanted to check in and see if you had an opportunity to read through the letters. If you had any questions, I would love to discuss how the accommodations might apply to this particular class. That process is really important because it establishes a good relationship between the faculty member and the student. It gives the student an opportunity to become accustomed to advocating for themselves, to talk about how their disability impacts them without necessarily having to disclose their actual disability. So that step is really, really important. And that is all they need to do each semester, unless they have additional accommodation concerns or have anything else that they need to get registered for. They just keep requesting that faculty notification letter each semester to stay registered with us.
Perfect. Thank you. This is another pair for Dr. Marr and Dr. Berry. Do you plan to hire additional staff to support the students in your department? And a follow-up question of that is, how far out would you suggest that students book appointments?
You want to start this time, Dr. Barry?
Sure. A student right now in Summer C can schedule appointments this week and 2 weeks out. So I would highly suggest for fall semester, we typically do not have tutors starting the first week of fall semester because we have tutors who are also dropping and adding and changing their schedule. So there will be that first week of the fall semester with a delay. Otherwise, a student can still book 2 weeks out. The one element I really wanted to share for any of the students who are with us today, and particularly for family members, please know that this is the best tip I can give you. Students do not utilize faculty office hours well enough. So I urge you as a student, seek out your office hours for the instructors. Your instructors will meet with you outside of office hours because we know there's class conflicts. I know that's not tutoring, but I really wanted to make sure that you know it is the free resource that I find students do not utilize enough. So definitely email your instructor, introduce yourself, ask questions every week. There are not too many emails that you can send. You obviously want to be professional in that communication, but the answer overall is please utilize office hours. Students are too intimidated, we find. Students seem to feel like the faculty member may not spend time with them, but I promise you that is the best resource, is that relationship that you develop with the instructor to ask questions, to get additional resources. With tutoring, our tutors will sit with you as a student for 30 minutes while you do problems, and you can do practice problems. Our tutors will not be able to do any homework assignments. So I just want to urge again that a student can plan 2 weeks out, continually booking appointments. We have 60% of our students needing help with math, so we will not limit students. If they want a psychology appointment, they want a science appointment, and they want a math appointment. So as a student, exhaust the tutoring appointment resources we provide you, in addition to office hours.
Yeah. We have, as I said earlier, a different system, a standalone system, and we have it set to make appointments 1 week out. It's a little different, I guess, because, well, on a practical level, we find that if it's longer than that, a lot of people's plans change, or they forget that they made an appointment, and that they get an email, but then it goes astray. And so we find it focuses people's minds more for a shorter period of time. It seems to work well. We can see people in whatever stage of the process that they are at, and we usually have appointments available most of the time. In terms of hiring more staff, I wish. I can't actually hire anybody because we are a unit within the English department, and so most of our staff comes from within the English department. I don't have a hiring budget. But I really do want to explore this further. It's one of the things I really want to look at as part of my new job. And one of the things that we have started doing is hiring students through the Federal Work Study Program, which allows us to attract people from outside of the English department who we can train ourselves. And we have a lot of experience with training our consultants, but who also can come to us from not only from other disciplines, but from physically from other parts of the campus is helpful, with different backgrounds and different experiences. And I really feel that this is the way forward. I wish I had more flexibility in this regard. For the fall, this year we have a very large number of consultants because the English department has been extremely successful in attracting graduate students for the fall. In fact, we have an embarrassment of riches, really. But that's great because it means we can offer more appointments. We can also offer more workshops, more outreach, all of those things. So it means it's even more likely that we'll have appointments available. If anyone can't get an appointment or is struggling with scheduling, then they can always get in touch with us and we'll see what we can do. And I would also second what Dr. Barry said about the importance of the relationship. When it's an assignment that we're looking at, we are not talking to the student about their ideas that they are writing about in the way that their professor will talk to them about the assignment, the content, and we have nothing to do with the grade for the paper. So we are not teaching them. We're not an extra professor. We are there to support them and support their relationships with the people on campus, but it's a separate thing. So it's kind of, sometimes it's a safety valve, sometimes it's helpful extra explanation and support, or just this is how things work, whatever people need. But it is a different relationship, and we can do that at any point in the process. That's how we roll.
And thank you, Dr. Marr. I did not answer the question about staffing. Someone had asked a question about, will we be hiring new tutors? We know the budget that we have for the entire year, so we staff accordingly. So I would say to you, we already have 35 tutors scheduled for the fall. And again, we do it based on demand and our budget. So we will maximize our staffing as best as we can. Dr. Marr did a great job. For any of you who have federal work study, I think there's a lot of misperceptions, and sometimes students struggle with whether or not they should accept federal work study. I highly encourage you as a student to look at campus positions for employment. We do, as a learning center, we hire tutors with federal work study. So that is absolutely a great resource. It obviously helps us hire more tutors. Because it's a stipend there that we can utilize while paying you as a tutor. So that's excellent points, Dr. Marr. Thank you. Also, if you'll notice in the chat, Hannah, our orientation leader, shared a really good resource for other tutoring options. It's the Learning District. Strozier Library is our main library on campus. We have over 6 libraries. So I don't want to forget mentioning our campus partners. Dr. Marr mentioned there are other locations on campus for tutoring. So the Learning District is certainly one of them. They focus a lot of their efforts with tutoring services for STEM majors, but please utilize that link because they also promote what we do at ACE and what Dr. Marr's staff does with Reading Writing Center.
Great, thank you. So just before we wrap up, we have one last question. Dr. Marr, Dr. Barry, and then Spencer, the last question is for you. So I don't know if you'd be able to do it at the same time, but could you all, we have quite a few people that are asking for your email addresses, your department websites. If you could send those over to Hannah or me, and I will post them for everyone, that would be greatly appreciated. And then the last question is for Spencer. For the night, and it is, where can we find accommodation letters online for summer C classes?
So, so if you are taking a summer C course and you are already registered with us, you should be able to go ahead and log into our student portal. Directly on our website, if you scroll down, and I can post or have Hannah post a link. But there is a link, there's a button on our site that when you scroll down says, I believe it says OAS Student Portal. If you click on that, it's going to take you right to the student portal, ask you to log in with your FSU login, and then should take you right there. The biggest thing that you're looking for to start off is a list of your courses with checkboxes next to them. If you do not see that, you need to email your accessibility specialist, or you can email me, and we will try to get to the bottom of it and fix it so that we can get you access and you can request those letters.
All right, thank you so much. I agree. I appreciate everyone for coming out tonight. That is the last question that we have for tonight. Just to give you a heads up, next Monday, same time, same place, same exact link, we will be talking about finances. And a lot of you all were asking questions in the chat that are we couldn't answer, and I don't know that Dr. Marr, Dr. Berry, and Spencer would like to answer those as well, but we will have some experts to help you answer those questions and kind of field those things and give you another brief overview of their department. So again, we weren't ignoring you. We also had well over 300 people to try and decipher through. So if you would like to send an email to any of the respective people that we're talking today, or the Office of Orientation, our email address is pretty simple, orientation@fsu.edu, and NSFP, so New Student and Family Programs, at fsu.edu. We would be more than happy to answer those. But that is all we have for you tonight. Again, thank you so much. Again, next week, finances, and Dr. Marr, Dr. Berry, and Spencer will hang around for just a few minutes after and maybe answer just a few more questions if you have some that you would not like to ask in front of the group. But again, thank you so much.
Thank you all. Go Knowles.
Thanks, everyone.